Little update here. Had a customer show up the other day with a, let me get it out of the box here, brand new crankshaft for the car show motor. Brand new in the crate. Get it out here and we'll get a look at it. Let me get a screwdriver, get this screw out here, and I'll take it out so we can look at it. Okay, got the lid off of it here. Get it out, and I'm gonna have to go back and rebalance it, which is not a big deal. Let's get it out of here and see what we got. Well, nice box. I'm going to keep that. A brand new crankshaft. From GM. That is going to be the new crankshaft for the car show raffle motor. It's already got a 58 tooth reluctor wheel on it. I'll check it, make sure it's located properly, and I'll go back like I did on the other one and put a couple little tack welds just to secure that wheel, make sure it doesn't come loose. But that is a nice piece. I really appreciate Richard donating it. Hope people show up for the car show. It's going to be a fun time. We've got a local radio station that's going to be there for a couple hours, so it should be a fun day. Tack this reluctor wheel on there. Before I do that, I'll show you all how I check, make sure it is properly located. This is the tool that you use. It's got two locating dowels and it slides over the back of the crankshaft. So what we do is we flip it over like so. Set it on the edge of the welding table. Oops, make sure y'all can see. And this dowel lines up here and this one lines up in the crank pin. Everyone I do, always double check and make sure everything lines up like it should, and that all looks good. Had a motor one time that somebody put a reluctor wheel on and it was off about 10 degrees. So I check them from now on. Go back and tack that on there so it doesn't move. Use a bronze silicon rod to tack them on with, and if you do have to take them off at some point, it comes off real easy. And that is all it takes to hold it on it. Just a safety precaution. I'll get it set up on the balancer and get it balanced, and then this crankshaft be ready. The next process, I'm going to start assembling a short block. One thing I want to show people on these LS cranks, there's actually no keyway for the balancer. I'm going to actually set up in the mill and go back, cut a keyway in it, so the balancer has a keyway in it instead of just being pressed and using that. Let me get the lid shut back here. Power bond balancer on it. And it's set up for a keyway, you can see there, and it is also SFI approved, and it's all marked in degrees and everything. So that makes it very nice to use. It's an underdrive pulley setup, got 2 serpentine pulley setups on it, so that should work with whatever anybody's using. Got a snap ring, holds it all together. Ought to work pretty nice. Okay, got it all balanced up. Show you all the numbers here. Got her zeroed out. Had to drill a few holes. Some of those were already there. Had to add a few extra to it. Deburr these and polish it, and the crankshaft to be ready to install. Show you all how to set up crankshaft to cut keyways in it. Have these nice little V-block type deals. They slide it on the bottom, or key weight on the bottom. Get it set up here. T-slot bolts. Set on the V-blocks, put my clamps. Okay, we've got a keyway in it, and this little, I guess you kind of like a Rubik's Cube. It has 3 different crankshaft snout sizes on it. And it slides up on the keyway. Let's see here, one way goes better than the other. Right like that. Okay, that's slid up on the keyway now. Let me tighten all this stuff up here. Show you how to indicate this in. Just use one of these little small indicators to do it with. And we indicate off of this side here to make sure we're straight, and then we indicate up and down to make sure we're level this way. So we'll check this, make sure we're straight. Ooh. Okay, we're nice and straight there. Now, you can kind of eyeball it and get it pretty close. Snug these just a hair. And then we'll run up and down and check our, I need to move it out. I think I'm going to go to this other side. Make it a little, that tilted a little, yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll check her up and down. Oh. Went too far and banged into the bottom of the indicator, so let's try it again here. Too far. Well, kind of touchy there. Okay, that's good right there. So we're straight on the x-axis and we're straight on the z-axis. Now I'll show you how to find the center of the crankshaft. Get those good and tight. Take this out. I don't know how many of y'all have ever seen one of these. It's a how it works here now. Put it in the chuck, tighten it up. Let's go up a little bit here. We'll go over. You kind of offset this a little bit like so. And then we turn it on. Okay, you see how it's wiggling? You move it, and it gets straight. When it gets straight, that's a 1/4 inch ball, so half of that, and you'd be to the edge. So we'll put it off like so. Move it in. You can see where it's gotten straight. Up, see, then it jumps up. Show you one more time. Offset. Move in. So right there, back just a hair, is going to be 0. So our y-axis is 0, 0, enter. So we are going to back up about 1/1000 and 0 it out. Okay, that's how we know where this edge is and we're centered. Then we just this block is a 2-inch block, so 1 inch over is going to put this keyway in exactly the same spot as that keyway, which will work for TDC on this motor. Slide that off. I'll take this out. They actually make end mills that are designed for cutting a 3/16 keyway, which is what that is. It's actually about 1.5 thousandths smaller than 3/16. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, I raised the table up. We've got to move it over 1.25 inches. So that blocks 2.5. Okay, we are centered up there. So now, move down. Plus, almost messed up here. Plus, I need to take another 1/8 over because of the diameter of this ball. So we need 1/8 more, which we need to move over 1.375. So Y needs to be 1.375. And there we go. That is centered up. Pretty much every LS motor I build, I end up putting a keyway in it. If it's a stock crankshaft. That drilling and pinning the balancer, like they sell a setup, that's fine if the crank's still in the motor, but if you've got the motor apart, I would recommend putting a keyway in it. Save you a lot of headache. And you guys remember to check this lube out, Eunice. It's great stuff. Best lubricant, or not lubricant, but cutting oil that I've ever found. And that is cutting a keyway. Pop this off here so y'all can see. And hopefully you can see it. There, see, got the keyway cut in it there. That will keep the balance from slipping, lined right up with the original one. So TDC is going to work out fine on the balancer. I actually even built some timing pointers. I may put one on this motor so you can actually see, you know, the timing marks, and if you want to put a timing light on it, you could actually check it and see. Okay, this is the car show block. I'm going to show everyone how the cam bearing pinning fixture works. This is what it is for those who haven't seen it. Drill down through the lifter valley, which really not a lifter valley, this area here, and actually use a Allen screw to pin the cam bearings to keep them from spinning. The LS motors have an issue sometimes with that. It's just a safety precaution. On these earlier blocks where take this back off so you can see here. They have the knock sensors up in here. That's why I've got these spacers to space this up. On a standard block that doesn't have that, it actually just bolts straight down to these bolts here. And you just bolt it down, snug it up, like so. have long bits. I don't have drill bushings in these for no more than I use it. It's not a necessary thing, I think. Some people might think it is, but you know, I do one of these blocks every couple of weeks, maybe. So I don't think it really needs it. Plus, the cutting part is down almost past all of this anyway, and it's just running on the shank in this hole. I drill them before I put the cam bearings in. That's how that part works. Drill them, and then I pull this off. I have a bullet bit. I don't know if anybody's ever seen. I'm sure somebody's seen them. They're just, I call them bullet bits. They got a little point on them, and it's flat on the edge. I use one of those. Go on these holes here because there's ribs down in there, and I want that bolt or Allen screw to have a nice flat surface to set on. So I just hit it just like that. You can buy long taps so I can get down all the way through these long bosses sticking up. That's doing these 3 center ones. I'll go ahead and get these other 2 tapped, and then I'll flip it over, show you what it looks like once the holes are drilled, and put cam bearings in it and pin the end ones. Okay, got it flipped over here. You can kind of look, hopefully y'all can tell. You can kind of see the holes there, and you can see the pattern from the old cam bearings where they were set, and they were all centered up as far as those go. So I'm going to knock cam bearings, deburr a little bit on those, knock some cam bearings in it, and then show you how to finish up the end ones and how I do the 3 center ones. Got a small little round carbide burr. Just reach down in here and just barely touch those holes. Knock a little bit of a chamfer on it. This one you kind of have to do from up here, but it's round like that, so it works fine. And that's all it takes. Knock some cam bearings in it and finish it up. Okay, got the cam bearings knocked in, and I have my little tool here that I've made. Put some black electrical tape on it to keep from scratching the bearings up. It's got one small hole in it. I usually mount it about right there. It's nice and tight. And I usually do it somewhere towards the top part of the block there. And drill it and tap that hole. That will intersect part of the outside edge of the cam bearing, and thread the block. I'll thread the block and the outside part of that cam bearing. Doesn't have to go real deep. Get down here so y'all can see now. Look real close, you can see where it just gets the outside edge of that cam bearing. Run a tap in it. And it'll just tap the OD of that cam bearing. I start it with a taper tap. And then I have a T-handle. I have a bottom tap that I finish it with. And I'll do the front the same way. And then I'll flip the block over and drill through the 3 center cam bearings and run that tap back through those. So I'll get the front done, then flip it over and show you what I do as far as the top goes and tapping those. Okay, got both ends done and tapped. I don't put any screws in till after I've got all that done, and then I'm gonna go back and deburr all the edges on the block and rewash it, make sure all the lifters fit, rewash it before I put any of the screws or anything in it. So I go back and I'll run my tap back through it and tap that cam bearing just a little bit. And that is pretty much what I'll do. I'll do the other 2 holes and then get it flipped back over and show you how I deburr the cam bearing once I've got the holes tapped. Okay, here's how I deburr the inside of that cam bearing. Same tool I used before. I'm sure I'm going to get criticized for it, but hey, it is what it is. You need to knock that burr off. If you're careful and good with a die grinder, it's not an issue. All right, that's how I deburr them. Give you a closer look at everything. That's what it looks like, deburred. Screws come right through the center of the cam bearing. And I don't put any of those screws or plugs in the end. On the front one, I offset it to one side. It's too thin right in here, so I offset it over to one side on it. Just got to deburr all the edges on the block a little bit and do a final wash, and I can start putting the car show motor together, and I'll do some videos on doing all the assembly on it. Okay, a couple other notes. This is the only used piece now that the car show raffle motor is going to have. Everything else in this motor will be brand new, which kind of amazes me, the generosity of viewers and people that I know Richard brought a brand new GM crankshaft, which on this video you see me balance it. I'm not going to use the original one I used. I really appreciate everybody, and I will make sure we're going to do t-shirts for the car show, and I will make sure everybody gets that donated and helped with the motor and the car show will get a t-shirt, and will be recognition on the back of the t-shirts for you. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the help. Keep subscribing. You know, the viewers make all this stuff possible. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.